OK, so to the back pages, England captain Harry Kane is dominating them once again this morning. That's after Manchester City have reportedly made a £100 million bid for the Spurs star yesterday. So the Sun are reporting it, City in £100 million Kane bid. Daily Mail are saying City fire first shot for Kane. In the Mirror, Spurs no to City's £100 million Kane offer. Spurs chairman Daniel Levy is demanding £150 million for the Spurs legend, and it's rumoured that Guardiola is more than happy to offload the likes of Raheem Sterling or Gabriel Jesus, or Laporte as well was being reported as well as part of the deal. Now, talkSPORT's Jason Cundy had his say on Kane's offer and believes Spurs may hold out for more money.
It looks a good deal, doesn't it? But I think Daniel Levy, when there's a player plus cash deal, Jesus has got all the power here, hasn't he? He's in such a good position. He doesn't have to go. He doesn't want to. He can say, dig his heels. Says, no, I don't want to go to Spurs. I want to go to somewhere in Europe or go to another club. So he's got all the power there. But if this is the first offer, Spurs will be thinking there's a little bit more to come. So don't be surprised if this continues. I very much doubt Levy will take the first offer.
Yeah, I think Jason's right there. I think that is literally what it is. It's a first offer, isn't it? Some names in the hat as well. Darren, as a player, what I wanted to ask you was, I mentioned this earlier on, that Jesse Lingard was saying that when you're in tournament football and game mode like that, you don't listen to the media, you don't read the reports, if they're good or bad. But surely if your name has been touted around as part of a deal to go to Spurs, with Harry Kane coming in the opposite direction plus 100 million, you're going to be aware of that, aren't you? And
100%. You mean if I'm like Gabriel Jesus or Laporte or Sterling?
If you're Sterling. And
of course.
How difficult will that be for him to take?
It'd be difficult in terms of, I think, for Sterling, for instance, I talk about him alone, is that he's been so good for Manchester City. And obviously seeing that, talking about him potentially being offloaded to go to Spurs after everything he's done for Manchester City, of course he'll be on the phone to his agents, what's going on here. He'll be having conversations with Guardiola. All this would be going on because I know people say they don't listen to outside noise, but when it affects you personally and in that kind of environment, in terms of someone just trying to palm you off to someone else, of course you're going to be aware of it, and it's going to affect you. It can't not affect you. Every day you pick up your phone with social media, it'll be everywhere. You watch Sky Sports News, it will be everywhere. So of course it's going to affect him. Whether it affects his performance on the pitch, it might have slight ramifications, but I'm telling you now, he will be fully aware of it. And he might be having conversations daily about what's going on.
Trevor, who would you rather have, Harry Kane or Raheem Sterling?
If you talk about striker, you'd have Harry Kane. But for me, Sterling's a 100 million plus player anyway. So what kind of money are we talking if they're going to be throwing that into the deal? Jesus, great squad player. I know he's not probably your number 9 that's going to get you 25 goals a season, but coming in, doing a job for the team, still quite young, still got a lot of development to do and improving. I think that's too much. And then Laporte, you could say Laporte would be very much needed at Tottenham because they've got problems with their central defensive positions. So you could say, get him involved in the discussion. But I put some out last night. I put a question out last night on social media and just said, who would you rather have to City fans, Romelu Lukaku or Harry Kane? And you look at the link up between Lukaku and KDB, the Belgian team, and it was literally 90% of the answers came back Lukaku. Wow. They're similar ages, what they both 27, 28, coming up for 28, and Lukaku's turned up in this tournament. He's had a fantastic season.
He looks unplayable, doesn't he, Trev?
He's a brute. Look at the size of him. I mean, defenders can't even see the ball. Never mind challenge for it at times. And the goal that was offside last night, which was touch and go for me, that was a superb finish.
The first touch, wow.
But the weight of passing but they've got that chemistry. And when you talk about play, you got it at clubs. So Fallon's, so Czech at West Ham. There's an appreciation for each other. They've had the same kind of journey, and I think it's integral to any team that they're. I mean, it's almost like FIFA football. If you get the chemistry right playing FIFA on the computer, your team will play better. But that is reality. Yeah. If you get them link-ups in a team, and I just feel like if you could, for whatever reason, that they've gone for Harry Kane, but for me, the more exciting centre forward to bring into Manchester City would be Lukaku.
As well, the goal that he set up for Kevin De Bruyne, the second goal in the last game that he played, where basically he managed to get his way through 2 or 3 people inside the box and then set it up, and it was amazing finish for Kevin De Bruyne. But you're right, it's not just the goals that he scores; it's all that work he does to set everybody else up, and
that's what Manchester United fans were complaining about, his link-up play.
Yeah,
but if you look at the work that he's done for that Kevin De Bruyne goal. it was outstanding. You know, he used his body to shield the ball, then he's kept it alive, then he's had a little dribble up, and then he's weight a pass. You know, he's sucked a couple of players and he's weight a pass, and that's what's kind of forced that. It's almost like a training ground finishing move. You come in from the right, you recycle it, you get it back into the set, one touch moves, bang, finish. Beautiful finish.
Even his goal yesterday, he's toying with defenders.
Yeah.
It's like they can get nowhere near. It's like boys versus men. He just rolls his body. He's for me, this tournament, he has been unstoppable.
Going back to Raheem Sterling, because what I can't get my head around, Trev, is that Raheem Sterling's last two seasons are amazing at City, and then he hits a bit of bad form in the mind of most City fans that know what he's like when he's at his best, and gets dropped for a few games, doesn't start, but he still started the Champions League final, which is why I can't really get my head around City dropping him that quickly, because I suppose the better question is, would you sacrifice Raheem Sterling to bring in Harry Kane? If that's the offer that Spurs go, okay, fine, they'll probably want a little bit more money, even though 100 million is a lot, but they'll probably want more than that. But then if Raheem Sterling is part of that deal, are City fans willing to give him up?
Possibly. I think the fact that Phil Foden plays in the same position and he's kind of one of our own, he's Stockport lad, come through the academy, it's a fantastic success story. So I think they would sacrifice that. Whether Raheem would want to go and play for Spurs, now I'd like to have that conversation, because I don't see that. I think Real Madrid and the real big boys will be interested in Raheem Sterling, and let's not forget, the only goal we've scored at this tournament is Raheem Sterling. The better play in the final third has come through Raheem Sterling. There was a potential penalty against Scotland, the nutmeg to set up Mason Mount. A lot of the brighter stuff that we've produced this tournament has come through Raheem Sterling. And I know he's not played a lot at Manchester City, and I think that's the discussion that he will be having with the manager at Manchester City, Pep Guardiola, when he gets back, about how much, his game time and starting the times that he's starting for the club. It coincides with his contract negotiations as well. So there's a lot of things going on in the background. There's a lot of things working at Manchester City to do with Raheem Sterling. So he could be brought into the discussion about leaving, but for me, he's still an integral part of this England squad. Okay, so as it stands, 100 million offered and a potential of either Raheem Sterling, Laporte, Gabriel Jesus. Tottenham have no intention to accept the bid at this time, and nothing's going to be decided before the Euros is up anyway. So we are in for a rocky few weeks, I imagine, as these stories go back and forth.